All right, everybody. It is Tuesday, August 11th at 5:06 p.m., and I am calling to order the Placerville City Council meeting. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Could I get a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Carter?
Here.
Councilmember Clarici?
Here.
Mayor Gottberg?
Here.
Vice Mayor No?
Here.
Councilmember Yarbrough?
Here.
All right, we're going to move on to item number 3.1, El Dorado County Hometown Heroes presentation, Troop 117. Mr. Nishihara.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, City Council members. I'm going to invite up Mr. Tucker Anderson from Boy Scout Troop 117 to the podium. I will say this. It is very, very encouraging to see not only the commitment of our community, but our young people who really, really want to give back, right? Opposed to individuals who you're out there spray painting stuff, and I've got my eye on you. This young man is absolutely passionate about not just making his community better, but celebrating the heroes. So with that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Anderson to share a little bit about his project and where we're going to go from there.
Thank you very much. Hello, my name is Tucker Anderson, and I'm with Troop 117.
Is there a button? Hold on.
Is that better? Oh, there we go.
That's fantastic.
Hello, my name is Tucker Anderson, and I'm with Boy Scout Troop 117. My Boy Scout troop is based out of Shingle Springs, and I'm currently working on my Eagle project. I want to say thank you for having me here tonight, that I can tell you a little bit about my project. First off, I've been working with Mr. Dennis and with Mr. McAdams from VFW 10165 to make this project possible. My project is to honor local El Dorado County veterans by putting up 60 custom-made banners along Main Street, Placerville. Here's what they will look like. There'll be 60 of these going up. They all have a different veteran, and in relation to this will be a website that gives information on each veteran. It will be probably about a half mile to a mile long down the road, and I'm very looking forward to see this coming through.
That's amazing. Somebody want to hold that for me? Get law enforcement to help you out there. Okay.
There is a QR code on the bottom of the banner if you would like to take a quick look at the website that is involved with this. Tonight I will be putting on the last of the veterans that need to go with there, and we'll be putting up the banners this month, so very shortly.
Excellent.
All right, thank you.
Are there any questions?
Any questions from the council?
Different wars, different times.
Yeah, so it ranges from World War I through about Vietnam.
Okay. That's a question I was going to ask. Okay.
All right. Would any member of the public like to comment on this item?
I actually have another question. If someone you know is one of these posters at the end, can you get it for a small donation or whatever?
So these will be used over the years.
Oh,
is what
okay,
I've
I
been
got it,
told.
I
So
got it.
each year they should go up, is what I've been told around Veterans Day and days like that. So,
Enough said. Enough said. Thank you.
of course.
Any other council questions or comments? Any questions or comments from the public on this item? Yeah, you can come on up to the podium. Yeah, just so that folks that are listening can hear.
Hi, I'm Pat from the community. Sorry for jumping out there. I just think also, too, that it could be a fundraiser kind of activity, that if you don't get to walk away with the beautiful poster, that maybe more could be generated at a nominal fee, and that could be part of a donation to your cause. So just, I'm always thinking fundraising. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Oh,
Are there
thank
any
you.
other members of the public that would like to speak on this item? All right, I see none. Thank you very much. It's a great project.
Thank you
luck.
very much for having me.
All right.
All right, item number 4, closed session report, City Attorney Ibrahimi.
Thank you, Mayor Gottberg. The council met in closed session today. There was no public comment in advance of that. There is no reportable actions on items 1, 2, and 4. The council provided direction on item 3.
All right. Moving on to item number 5, adoption of the agenda.
I'll move the agenda.
I'll second.
All right, I have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None? All right, we're going to move on to item number 6, announcement presentations to the public. 6.1, brief comments by the city council. Let's start with Councilmember Yarborough.
I have none tonight.
Councilmember Carter.
I have none.
Vice Mayor No.
We met yesterday with 681 Main Street, just met with all the merchants about the transition and had a good meeting. Yeah, thanks.
All right, Councilmember Clarici.
I did not go, but does anybody have anything to say about National Night Out? Besides the fact that
It was just recently.
National Night Out was a great event. I went to 3 different places, got really good feedback. I think it's such an opportunity to meet with the public and ask them, for people who don't usually come to our meetings, and talk to them. And I think I sent you all a write-up of all the conversations I had, so really great event.
Anybody else want to add to that? Or any other
I didn't go,
public
so
comments?
somebody else have to add to
Yes,
it.
do you have anything else?
I do. I would like to read something about housing. This came in Cal Matters. I don't know if you read the one today. I'll just read a little bit of it. So after years of nudging, political trolling, and litigating, most cities and counties now have state-approved plans in place. This is about housing and the initiatives from the state of California to get us to all do more. But as the production numbers show, though, it's one thing to plan and another to build. Almost nowhere in the state is actually seeing the new construction necessary to meet the housing needs of all Californians, as housing regulators have described these targets. Only 5 jurisdictions in the entire state are permitting at a pace to hit all 4 income targets, and there were 4 income targets, just like it says. 4 are the lightly populated, unincorporated bits of small, mostly rural counties: Plumas, Napa, Yolo, and Mono. The 5th is Placerville. There you go. A town of roughly 11,000 people in the Sierra foothills east of Sacramento. So kudos to us for being one of the 5
Amazing.
about housing. Anyway, that was what I wanted to say. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I also attended National Night Out and talked to a number of members of the community, which was really great. And then I attended the Equality California Leadership Summit down in Sacramento and met a number of our state lawmakers and other mayors and folks from other cities across the state of California. So we'll move on to item number 7, consent calendar. Would anybody like to pull anything from a consent calendar?
I'd like to pull 7.6, please.
All right. Would any member of the public like to comment on items on our consent calendar with the exception of item 7.6? All right, I see none, so I will bring it back up to the council.
I'll move the consent calendar while removing item 7.6.
I'll second.
All right, I have a first and a second. Could I get a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Carter?
Aye.
Councilmember Clarici?
Aye.
Councilmember Yarborough?
Aye.
Vice Mayor No?
Aye.
Mayor Gottberg?
Aye. All right, we are going to move on now to item number 8, public comment, non-agenda items. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons wishing to address the council on any matter not on the agenda that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city council. You will be limited to 3 minutes. Would anybody like to talk to us about something that is not on our agenda tonight? This is your opportunity to do so.
Vanderkar, citizen of Placerville, and I don't know whether Mr. Clarici preempted what I was going to say because I couldn't tell whether it fit on the agenda or not. But what I wanted to say is Placerville has always been responsible about meeting its housing goals, and I'm proud of the city. Please be mindful about zones for Airbnbs and the effect on neighborhoods that have Airbnbs that are there but not zoned for them in the city. There are some. The ones I know about are not having a bad effect on their neighborhoods because there are not many together. Hopefully, the tourist tax, however, still goes, there is a tourist tax, I hope, that still goes to the city from these out-of-zone Airbnbs. So,
All right, thank you. Would anybody else like to talk to us about stuff not on our agenda tonight?
Hi, I'm Pat McConaughey, a transplant from San Francisco. But anyway, my concern mostly is being an active member of the Senior Center as well as Federated Church, that I think it might be nice to have some extra money donated or allocated to senior swim. I've only been here about 5 years or 6 years, and since I arrived and go swimming each morning, that I first paid $5, and next year I paid $6, and next year I paid $7, and so now it's up to 10. So I buy a senior pass, but there's a lot of people that can't afford the senior pass, and also to the fact that a daily ticket costs much more than a monthly ticket or this total 90 days of our June, July, August session, or July, August, September, sorry. And I just talked to these seniors, and it's just so sad because they said, I can't afford $10. I can't drive in from Georgetown and pay the gasoline and get there, but my doctor advised me. So anyway, I sent an email to somebody at the aquatic center and said, hi, I'm Pat, and I got an issue. And so I've been corresponding with him, and so he told me that money has been allocated from Marshall Hospital to the aquatics department, but primarily it's directed to the teens for maybe water polo or whatever. And in today's world, with all our seniors trying to get decent health care, and your doctor will tell you, well, just exercise or swim and this and that. And that's great, but if you don't have that $10, and so I'm just sort of communicating with this person, and eventually I'll go in and make an appointment, talk to him face to face, and see what can be done, because they did tell me in the email that there is a program available for seniors if they are in need and say challenged financially, low income, however you want to name it. And there is money, but they don't have any process in place to have you go in and get the money or get the ticket. And so I said, how do you know that there's something available if it isn't publicized, so that you can, kind of walk in there intelligently instead of just saying, I want to swim. So thanks.
All right, thank you for your comments. All right, did we have any written communications?
No, Madam Mayor.
All right, so we're going to move on now to item number 9, items pulled from the consent calendar. I believe that was item 7.6.
Did you want to start, or? I just had a couple of questions. The reason I pulled the item was there were a couple of questions that were asked by the public during the first reading, and our director of our development services was not at the meeting. She was on the phone, so she didn't really get a chance to answer those questions. So I wanted to give staff a chance to answer some of the questions that the public had asked at the previous meeting. And so if it's okay with you guys, I'll just go ahead and pose those questions and let...
Yep. Feel free to ask staff your questions.
Yep, thank you. So the first question was is if there's any limit to the number of navigation centers that could be approved within city limits.
No, under AB 101, there is no numerical cap. It is only allowed by right in qualifying zones such as mixed-use, non-residential zones that already allow multifamily. There are objective standards, including setbacks, parking, case management, CES and HMIS participation, safety plans, and naturally limit feasible sites.
Excellent. And then the other question was, this was actually my question, but it's kind of addressed in the staff report, but just to let the public know that all navigation centers are automatically considered low barrier facilities. And so these, if you're not familiar with that, it's drugs and alcohol are they're locked up, but they're allowed, and they're given back to them when they leave. It's kind of a weird system, but just to let people know that they are going to be low barrier if there's any approved. The other question was, would we have any control over who operates a NAV center should one be proposed?
We do not have discretionary approval over to select or reject an operator. We can require them to participate in this CES participation, the HMIS case management in compliance with our objective operational standards. So again, putting feasible conditions on the project that are within our power to do under AB 101.
Excellent. Thank you.
Any other questions from the council on 7.6?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify. I believe our rules now say that we can have only one navigation center in the city. Does this negate or overrule that?
So this is in compliance with AB 101. So this is removing barriers to low barrier navigation centers being operated in the city limits. This is a requirement not only of AB 101, but also of our six-cycle housing element, which we're rounding up actually with this item, will be the bookend on completing all of our compliance requirements with the six-cycle, and we'll kick off seven-cycle, December or January.
Yeah, and I believe there's consequences in voting no on this. Can you just highlight those for us?
Absolutely. So the city would immediately fall out of compliance with the state housing element law. The program B4 is a mandatory implementation item in the housing element, and the Housing and Community Development Department of the state has already issued a letter of inquiry noting that our original commitment date passed in 2023. Not adopting this ordinance would signal to HCD that the city is not implementing its housing element as required. Second, non-approval places the city at risk of housing element decertification. If HCD revokes our certification, the city becomes ineligible for numerous state funding programs, including housing, infrastructure, transportation, and homeless grants. These funding streams are extremely critical to our ongoing capital and housing efforts. Third, decertification also triggers state enforcement actions, and under Government Code Section 65585, HCD may refer the matter to the Attorney General, which can result in mandated corrective actions, financial penalties, and loss of local discretion over land use decisions. And fourth is builder's remedy, which the city becomes vulnerable to. It means that developers may submit housing projects that the city must approve regardless of zoning, provided that they meet affordability standards. This significantly limits the city's ability to manage land use and community character. And finally, failure to adopt this ordinance means the city remains out of compliance with AB 101, which requires low barrier navigation centers to be allowed by right in certain zones. Continued non-compliance exposes the city to additional state scrutiny and potential legal challenges.
Yeah.
So that kind of sums that up in a nutshell.
I think basically what can happen is we could all vote no, and you'd end up with one of these anyway, and a whole bunch of stuff you don't want. And it's a pain, and it makes you mad at Sacramento, but yeah, the downside is, well, it was described.
All right.
So I'll move the item.
I need
Oh,
to
I'm sorry, you have
open
to
it
do
up for
public
public
input. I'm sorry.
Would any member of the public like to comment on this item?
Peg Vanderkar, Housing El Dorado. I probably have a responsibility for saying something here. Simply, pointing out that as of next March, we will have no navigation center in the county, in the city, or maybe the county at all, because the former juvenile hall navigation center is being closed down. And closed down, people are, I'll use the extreme word, being kicked out fast. There's an amount of folks, a number, who are scheduled to be removed. Kicked out is how they've felt, the ones I've talked to, each month. So by February, there's like 4 left in there. I don't know how it feels to be 4 people in that big building, and I have no idea what kind of case management has even been going on all these months, frankly. So I'm a little disappointed with that. So it's an issue, and I don't know where people, whatever the powers that be, county mostly, affect or think that these folks are going to stay or live. Are they going to escape to some other county that's going through the same thing? I don't know. And the numbers will be very much down over the winter months. So, like Hangtown Haven being shut down, and I can understand why, only there's sadness of it, shut down in November years ago when it was running well for citizens of Placerville, but it was advertised too much and people from all over the state were being shipped here. It ran well inside. But anyway, what happens in the winter? Housing El Dorado is working on some programs that can help in the winter, but it won't be a full solution. So
Great.
I'm happy to talk with anybody individually about this.
Yeah, thank you for your comments. Anybody else want to comment on item 7.6? All right, I see none. I will bring it back up to the council for
I'd like to comment. I'm actually part of a working group that's dealing with the closure of the current navigation center. The plan, it holds roughly 60 people, and the plan is to, probably starting in, let's see, October, yeah, to reduce the capacity by 10 beds. So it'll go 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 0, and it'll close the end of March, if I recall. As far as I know, they are still providing the full suite of services that they have been and will continue, obviously with far fewer people over time, up until the time of closure. The county has proposed a facility over at the jail. They have a bunch of land over there, and they're going to try to set up something over there. Whether it happens or not, you're talking to the wrong elected body. We have no control over that. The full suite of services will be available to the homeless. They just will not have a navigation center to go to. Good, bad, or indifferent, that's what's going to happen. We'll see what the county ends up doing with another facility after this one is closed. But as far as I know, the full suite of services will be available. There just simply won't be a facility. And one of the interesting things, and I'm not going to debate whether the navigation center has been a success or not. That could be up to people. One of the questions I asked when we were talking about this subject was, on any given day, how many available beds? Because people tend to think of 60, and they think, well, that's 60, you know. But I think when we talked, I asked that question, and you were there, I think. And they said on any given day it was about 5. So the capacity of the navigation center has been, almost from its inception, almost at capacity. Now, that doesn't mean that it's not a good thing. It just means, you know, people have a tendency to think, well, there's 60 beds. That means on any given day we can take 60 people off the street and put them in there. It's like, well, no. There's basically a handful of beds typically that are available on any given day. So the capacity of it has always been sort of stretched. Once again, I'm not commenting on whether it was a good idea, bad idea, whether it was successful, unsuccessful. That is not what I'm saying. But I think it's important for folks to know that it has been running at capacity almost from the get-go. And a lot of the people that go in and out are repeat clients of the facility. That's probably just the nature of the subject that we deal with. But I just want to let you know, it's going to wind down, and by the end of March, it'll be not there anymore. And we're working with the county to make sure that not the impacts to the potential folks that would have been in there are not terrible, but also that the impacts to the community are not terrible. And that's a different subject anyway from what we're talking about here. It would be nice that the state of California provided discretion, but the problem is this is what they're facing. Communities, when asked to do this by like voluntary standards, they'll put in a bunch of things so that you essentially can't do it. And the state doesn't want that. Once again, we could have our favorite adult beverage and talk about the role of the state when it comes to homelessness. And this is why this is written this way. This is why they took everything out. They took all the discretion out of it because the state they do that with housing. They do that with everything. Because there are communities that'll say, well, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to have any of this stuff. Once again, good, bad, or indifferent? Who knows? And that's why this is written the way it is. And that's why the penalties for not doing what we're going to do here in about 2 seconds are so severe that nobody wants to poke that bear. So anyway, can I now?
Yeah.
I will move the staff recommendation.
I will second.
All right, I have a first and a second. Could I get a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Carter?
No.
Councilmember Clarici?
Yep.
Councilmember Yarbrough?
No.
Vice Mayor No?
Aye.
Mayor Gottberg?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
All right, we are going to move on. Item number 10, we have no ordinances tonight, so we're going to move on to item number 11, public hearings. 11.1, declaring the results of the Placerville Mallard Apartments Maintenance District number 2026-1 ballot proceeding, ordering the formation of the district and levying assessments and approved related actions. This is the time and place fixed for the public hearing related to the proposed formation of the Mallard Apartments Maintenance District 2006-1 to fund certain street lighting and storm drain improvements and the ongoing annual maintenance operation and servicing of such improvements with the district. I would now ask the Director of Finance to provide the staff report.
Thank you, Mayor Gottberg and City Council members. So yes, the purpose of this item is to declare the results of the formation of the City of Placerville Mallard Apartments Maintenance Assessment District 2026-1, so it's also considered a MAD, and we're going to consider this the district, as well as approve the final engineer's report, diagram and assessments, form the district, and then order the levy for the assessment. So some quick background. As a condition of approval, the property owner has agreed to form an assessment district to fund the streets, street lighting, and storm drains within the boundary of the district. So on June 23rd, 2026, the City Council approved resolution number 9549, which was a resolution initiating proceedings for the formation of the Mallard Apartments MAD District 2026-1. So pursuant to Government Code, Section 53753, ballots were mailed to the current property owner with the proposed district. As part of the formation process and in order to levy the annual assessment with the proposed district to be formed, an engineer's report must be prepared in accordance with the requirements, which was prepared by MBS. So tonight attached is the final engineer's report for fiscal year 2026-2027, and it's basically materially unchanged from the previously approved preliminary engineer's report that was submitted and approved by City Council previously. That report, just to summarize, includes plans and specifications for the maintenance of the improvements, estimates the cost of maintaining the improvements. It's a diagram of the assessment district, and then assessment of the estimated cost for maintaining those improvements. So what's up for discussion is City Council's desire to form and levy annual assessments for the district pursuant to the provisions of the Benefit Assessment Act of 1982. And so basically, to go over the cost to form the assessment district, okay, so you have to look at a general benefit, and that refers to the portion of a public improvements advantage that, like, for the public at large and the surrounding community, that's not assessed for that specific property. So once you come up with a general benefit, you would remove that from the assessment, from the cost for the property owner. MBS found that the general benefit percentage was 4.2%. So basically, 95.8% is for the benefit of the Mallard Apartments, and where 4.2% provides a benefit to the community. So that amount was $688. So when you look at the total cost of improvements minus the general benefit, which was that 4% of $688, for fiscal year 2026-2027, it is $17,352. So that's the assessment for the district paid by the property owner. It's because it directly benefits the properties within the district, which is the Mallard Apartments. So beginning for the next fiscal year, 2027, 2028, the maximum assessment rate per the special benefit will increase annually, and it'll be either the lesser of 3% or the February to February CPI for all urban consumers for San Francisco and Oakland Hayward. If the CPI is negative, then it will be flat, but it's just saying that the actual assessment rates may vary year to year. That really concludes our staff report. Our consultant, Sarah, couldn't be here in person. She is available if we want to call her over the phone. And now I'd like to hand it back to the mayor.
All right. Do any member of the councils have questions on this item? All right. The city council will hear from interested persons who desire to address the council on this matter. The public hearing is now open. So if you'd like to comment, please come up to the podium.
Sue Rodman, resident of the city of Placerville. And the thing I miss in this is, where is the assessment for water and sewer improvements? I don't see
That's not what it is, yeah.
anything in here that talks about water and sewer improvements, but those are going to be huge too, and somebody's going to need to pay those bills. And Measure H and Measure L are constrained from being used for new development. So Mallard's going to have to pay its own way. So is that somewhere addressed in this?
So I believe the Mallard apartments are on EID water, and they do have to pay an impact fee when you're building a new commercial building, residential building, multifamily building, so they paid an impact fee for sewer charges. But Melissa, is there anything that you wanted to add?
Sure. EID sewer system as well?
No. They're on city sewer, and just like every other property owner in Placerville, they're responsible for maintaining their sewer line up to the main, and the city maintains the system from there. But they also pay sewer impact fees with the development.
All right. Any other member of the public want to comment on this item? All right. Seeing no one else who wishes to be heard, do any members of the city council have any further questions for staff? None? All right. I would like to remind everyone that all assessment ballots must be received by the city clerk before this public hearing is closed. Ballots received after the close of the public hearing will not be tabulated. This is the final call to submit your assessment ballot. All right. The public hearing is now closed. Assessment ballots received by the city clerk after this time shall not be tabulated. She has to.
Oh. It's like the Oscars. No, the Oscar goes to the one ballot.
Yeah.
The assessment goes to.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. All right. One assessment ballot was mailed to the owners of the property within the boundaries of the assessment district, and one of those ballots was received prior to the close of the public hearing. One ballot representing $17,352.13 of assessments was submitted in support of the levy of the proposed assessments within the assessment district. Given the foregoing tabulation, a majority does exist.
All right. I'm following instructions. So if a majority does exist, proceed with the following. Do not approve the above resolution.
Do not?
So the way that it was articulated is that it was in support of, so
Oh.
you may proceed with approving
Okay.
the resolution.
Sorry. Okay. So if that is in support of, not that the majority does not exist, then this reads that if the majority protest does not exist, proceed with the following. Approve the resolution.
Okay.
I will move staff's recommendation to approve the resolution.
I'll second that.
All right. I have a first and a second. Could I get a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Carter?
Aye.
Councilmember Clarici?
Aye.
Councilmember Yarbrough?
Aye.
Vice Mayor No?
Aye.
Mayor Gottberg?
Aye. All right. we are going to move on now to item 11.2. Consider approving an updated water shutoff policy and fee schedule for non-payment of water service in accordance with Senate Bill 998. Mr. Stone.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This item before you is related to an updated water shutoff policy for non-payment, as well as an updated fee schedule for services related to water shutoffs due to non-payment. Historically, the Finance Department and Public Works Department work together to shut off water service due to non-payment of accounts. Both departments work together to develop this policy and fee schedule. Senate Bill 998, known as the Water Shutoff Protection Act, was approved on September 28, 2018 and became effective February 1st, 2020. On March 4th, 2020, Governor Gavin Newsom signed Executive Order N4220, which included a moratorium on water service disconnections during COVID-19. This order expired on December 31st, 2021. Following the expiration of N4220, SB 998 allowed for an agency to shut off water service for non-payment, provided they had an updated policy in place that meets several criteria. The City of Placerville water shutoff policy is presented in the staff report, contains all necessary items to meet the requirements of Senate Bill 998. Since we ceased water shutoffs, we have accrued over $900,000 in potentially uncollectible debt as of June 30th, 2026. While those funds are potentially uncollectible, this action will allow us to stop that amount from growing and drastically minimize future uncollectible debt. I'd like to add that this packet was sent to the city attorney's office for review, and while it's generally in compliance with Senate Bill 998, it was suggested that we update the municipal code for consistency. Those updates will be brought back at a future council meeting. This concludes my report, and I'd like to thank the finance director for her assistance with this, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
So just to be clear, we're bringing this back after the consistency is met, or?
No, the idea is to adopt the resolution that establishes the water shutoff procedures in accordance with Senate Bill 998. And subsequently, we will bring back an ordinance that cleans up the municipal code so it is consistent with SB 998.
Understood. Okay. Thank you.
Would any member of the public like to comment on this item?
Sue Rodman, member of the Measure H, Measure L committee and resident of the city of Placerville. And I think this is the best written water shutoff policy I have ever read. I think it's fair, it's compassionate, and it also calls to account people to account for their actions and pay their fair share. I pay my water bill, I pay my sewer bill. I expect other people who are connected to city sewer and water to do the same. It's one of those services that you really can't live without, and so you need to budget to be able to do that. And I think this is very well written and very well put together.
All right. Any other member of the public like to comment on this item? All right. I see none, so I will bring it back up to the council for a motion.
I'll move staff recommendation.
I'll second that.
All right. I have a first and a second. Could I get a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Carter?
Aye.
Councilmember Clarici?
Aye.
Councilmember Yarbrough?
Aye.
Vice Mayor No?
Aye.
Mayor Gottberg?
Aye. All right. We are going to move on now to item 12, discussion action items. 12.1, adopt a resolution retroactively approving and affirming a side letter to the Memorandum of Understanding with the Placerville Police Officers Association for the period of July 1, 2026 through June 30th, 2027, and authorizing the mayor, city manager, and the city's labor representative to execute the same. Ms. Tornicasa.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mayor Gottberg and City Council members. Yes, the purpose of tonight's staff report is to approve and memorialize a side letter agreement to the Memorandum of Understanding with the Placerville Police Officers Association effective July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2027. So for 1 year. The background, the existing MOU between the City of Placerville and the Placerville PPOA is effective for 3 years, period of July 1st, 2025 through June 30th of 2028. The city and the PPOA this year have met and conferred in good faith. The city held a closed session meeting on June 23rd, 2026, and the City Council approved pending legal and risk management review of a take-home vehicle program for the period of 1 year, July 1st, 2026 through June 30th of 2027. The proposed side letter agreement relating to take-home vehicles is attached to the resolution. So there is a cost to tonight's action. The total projected annual cost of the take-home vehicle program is estimated at $29,640. The budget impact is we did not budget this item. However, if we were to move forward with the 3% COLA increase that was written into the contract, that estimated cost to the general fund was $105,000. So this is something that was negotiated. And it was just negotiated for 1 year, even though there's 2 years left into the contract. So that concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Great. Any questions from the council? I see none. Would any member of the public like to comment on item 12.1? I see none, so we will bring it back up to the council for a motion.
I'll move the staff recommendation.
Second.
All right, I have a first and a second. Could I get a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Carter?
Aye.
Councilmember Clarici?
Aye.
Councilmember Yarbrough?
Aye.
Vice Mayor No?
Aye.
Mayor Gottberg?
Aye. All right, we're going to move on now to 12.2. Consider approving the implementation of a 3.5% convenience fee for all electronic debit and credit payment transactions for business licenses. Ms. Tornin-Casa.
Good afternoon, Mayor Gottberg and City Council members. So the city is recommending the adoption of a resolution approving a 3.5% convenience fee administered by Central Square to charge business license customers the same fees charged by the debit and credit card companies for electronic payments. So some quick background, effective July 10th of 2026, so just last month, the city began charging a 2.5% convenience fee for all utility debit and credit card payments. The City Council has since directed staff to continue to explore charging a convenience fee across all credit card transactions as a cost recovery option to help reduce the financial burden on the general taxpayers for the convenience provided to debit and credit card users. So what's up for discussion? Staff worked with Central Square, that's our merchant who handles both our utility and business license payments. Now for business license payments that are made with a debit and credit card, the pass-through cost, so there's no markup, the pass-through convenience fee is 3.5%. So you may be asking, why is the city charging a 2.5% convenience fee for utility payments and recommending a 3.5% fee for business licenses? Why isn't the fee the same? Well, that's a great question. Okay, so Central Square Payments, our merchant, determines the convenience fee. Unfortunately, the city cannot adjust the fee. Central Square determines the fee based on the likely combination of cards to be used. For utilities, it is generally 80% residents and 20% commercial businesses. For the city of Placerville, it actually is 82% residents and 18% commercial businesses. Now, residents generally do not have access to the more expensive credit cards, like commercial cards or rewards cards. So the pass-through cost is generally lower. It's generally lower than 3%, because I'm sure you're all very familiar with the 3% fee. They're popping up everywhere. Now, for business licenses, the convenience fee is 3.5%. Again, the fee is set by Central Square, so I understand that that's a little confusing to the public. The fee is higher because businesses generally have more expensive cards. And another question is, why isn't the city charging a convenience fee across all debit and credit card transactions, which is another great question. One reason is the city uses different software that partners with different merchants. So for example, Community Services uses ActiveNet for online payments, while Development Services uses Clarity, who partners with Stripe for online payments. The city's goal is to streamline, consolidate, and move to one merchant of record that can handle all payment processing for city services. We know that it would provide a much better customer experience, and we're actively looking for a solution. In the meantime, the city recommends moving forward with cost recovery measures that are available today. So back to the staff report. The city also knows that by charging a 3.5% convenience fee, some customers will opt to pay via check or cash. Good news is Central Square provides an e-check, which is an electronic check option, which will provide the same convenience to the customer to make their payments online. Now, Central Square does charge the city a fee for an e-check transaction. However, that is just $1 per transaction, which is significantly less than a debit and credit card cost. So the city recommends absorbing that fee. We're absorbing it for utility payments because we do value the convenience for the customers. For budget impact, for the current fiscal year, which is 2026, 2027, our business license revenue is estimated at $171,000. Anybody that's on an annual renewal is due by like the 1st of October. So there won't be a significant number of savings for this fiscal year. However, for 2027, 2028, the city estimates at least $3,000 in cost savings, and that's just based on businesses paying for their business license with a credit or debit card. And we think that online payments is going to continue to grow with Click2Gov payment portal, which launched in February of 2026. So that concludes my staff report for tonight, and I'm available for any questions.
All right. Any questions from the council?
I don't have a question. Well, actually, I do have a question, but it's more of a comment. I get a business license. I have a business, and I pay with a check. So I've never paid a convenience fee, and I'm not going to because I'll probably just pay with a check in the future. I think it's important for the public and certainly the merchants to know that there is an option for them that will not cost them any money. And if they decide to use a credit card, then they'll cost them whatever the percentage is. And we're moving, this is something that's moving through the rest of the government and already exists for water and sewer? Yes. And so, and then everybody now, you go charge anything. They ask you the cash or credit, and if it's not too much, you pay them cash, and you avoid the 3%. So it is important for the public and certainly the merchants to understand there is a way to avoid this 3.5% if they want to use it. Thank you.
All right.
And I just want to say thank you for a great staff report and for answering those two glaring questions that were going to be brought up. So yeah, thank you. It really helps to clarify things. So thank you.
All right. Would any member of the public like to comment on item 12.2? All right, I see none, so I will bring it back up to the council for a motion.
I'll move staff's recommendation.
I'll second.
All right, I have a first and a second. Could I get a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Carter?
Aye.
Councilmember Clarici?
Aye.
Councilmember Yarbrough?
Aye.
Vice Mayor, no?
Aye.
Mayor Gottberg?
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, item 12.3. I am going to be recusing myself from this item due to a financial conflict of interest of my environmental consulting work with Waste Connections.
Okay. So you're taking over.
Uh-oh.
We have a plan.
We have a plan. Very good.
Okay, 12.3, Fourth Amendment to the Solid Waste Collection Franchise Agreement, SB 1383 compliance. Ms. Kendrick.
Good evening, Vice Mayor No and council members. Carol Kendrick, Director of Development Services. Tonight I'm presenting the Fourth Amendment to the city's solid waste collection franchise agreement with Waste Connections. This amendment is required to bring the city into full compliance with SB 1383, the state's organic waste diversion law. Earlier this year, CalRecycle completed a compliance evaluation of the city's programs. Placerville was found fully compliant in every program area except for one. Our franchise agreement did not contain the mandatory hauler-specific requirements under 14 CCR Section 18988.1. CalRecycle stated, quote, "The jurisdiction does not have a contract with its franchise hauler that includes the requirements of that same section." Because of that deficiency, CalRecycle issued a notice of violation on April 15th requiring the city to correct the issue within 90 days. After working closely with CalRecycle's local assistant staff, the city received an additional 90-day extension, establishing a revised compliance deadline of October 12th of 2026. To resolve the violation, staff worked collaboratively with Waste Connections to prepare the Fourth Amendment, which includes all required SB 1383 hauler provisions. These include mandatory compliance with all SB 1383 regulations, identification of all facilities receiving organic waste, compliance with Article 3 collection requirements, enforcement mechanisms and penalties, reimbursement to the city for fines for fines resulting from the hauler non-compliance, except where penalties result solely from the generator behavior or city negligence. These provisions directly address the deficiency identified by CalRecycle and ensure the city has the enforceable mechanisms required under state law. I'd also like to note that the city is actively negotiating with Waste Connections on a broader extension of the overall franchise agreement separate from this compliance amendment. Those discussions are ongoing and will return to the City Council at a later date. It's important to emphasize that all other SB 1383 program areas were fully compliant, including collection services, education, outreach, edible food recovery, procurement, inspections, and record keeping. Again, the only issue is the hauler contract language, and this amendment resolves it. Regarding the fiscal impacts, there is no direct cost impact with adopting the amendment. However, staff and legal review time has been significant. Legal costs incurred to date total $10,000 with an additional $16,000 anticipated for the the franchise agreement extension, which was not funded in the current budget. Tonight, the council has three options. Option 1, to adopt the Fourth Amendment and bring the city into full compliance. Option 2, direct staff to revise the amendment and return with changes. Option 3, decline the amendment, which would lead the city out of compliance and subject to administrative penalties of $500 to $10,000 per day. Staff recommends option 1, adoption of the Fourth Amendment to resolve the notice of violation and maintain regulatory compliance. Thank you. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have, and I see we have 3 representatives from El Dorado Disposal, Waste Connections, in the audience.
Okay, questions from council members?
I don't.
Okay, I will take questions and comments from the audience, the public. Seeing none, I will bring it back to the council for discussion and a motion.
Yeah, I'm just glad we're finally getting all of our ducks in a row, and I'll be happy to see this finally come to a real contract instead of putting Band-Aids on this old one. But in that vein, I will move that we do option 1, adopt the Fourth Amendment to the franchise agreement.
I will second that.
Okay, we have a first and a second. Can we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Carter?
Aye.
Councilmember Clarici?
Aye.
Councilmember Yarbrough?
Aye.
Vice Mayor No?
Aye.
Mayor Gopper will be noted as recused. Thank you.
Okay, can we get the mayor back, please?
You really? Just keep
Well.
She'll never know.
She'll never know. Who cares about any of this? Oh, I was not here. I was on vacation, which was very fun. I actually did a single track bike thing. It was hard.
All right. We're going to move on now to item number 13, council reports from other agency meetings. El Dorado County Transit Authority.
Yeah, we did a couple of things here this last meeting. We approved the purchase of 2 new buses. So we got 2 new buses to replace some old buses coming in, so that's a good thing. We also authorized some more hiring as they need it because our ridership is up with the order to go back to the office for a lot of the state workers. We're getting a lot more ridership on our buses, which is really good. So hence new buses and new people coming on. We also approved a purchase order for TriSpark Technologies. Basically, it's a street software, so we can have better software on the buses and within the dispatch. So other than that, that's pretty much what we did.
All right, El Dorado County Transportation Commission.
We had a pretty light agenda, but most significant that the public would be interested in is we had a Trip to Green update. The consultant's still moving through the environmental and the engineering. They predict to have a public meeting at the end of the year, or beginning of the year, to get input on design and all those things that we would want to have input on, and on track to seek construction funding in 2028.
All right, LAFCO.
We did meet. We approved a contract with a new audit firm, and we also approved the official LAFCO response to the grand jury report on the Mosquito Fire Protection District, which is pretty interesting. If anybody is interested in fire protection districts, that is a really good read.
All right, SACOG.
We meet next week.
All right, Pioneer.
Give me 1 second to change my screen. All right. We did meet. Pretty interesting meeting, actually. We had a conversation about implementing an economic development rate. Specifically, the city of Rockland has a big tech company that is considering moving into town, and they were looking for a break on their electricity rates. We chose not to do that at this time, but we're going to look at implementing something in the full service area in the future to attract some larger customers. Let's see here. We also approved a couple of software items that will, for battery optimization and some strategic energy management stuff. So, yeah.
All right. Placerville Fire Safe Council, we met. We received a presentation from the American Red Cross about their various programs. They also are looking for volunteers, so if you would like to volunteer, please go and check them out. And then we also had a presentation on Eschaton. And, all right, Opportunity Knox, Continuum of Care.
I actually was not able to, I had technical difficulties and was not able to actually see the meeting, so
all right.
It was a light agenda, nothing that really affected the city.
Great. Would any member of the public like to comment on item 13? All right, I see none. Item 14, anybody have a request for a future agenda item? All right, I see none. City manager and staff reports. Item 15. 15.1, acknowledge and file the HCL sales tax and economic reports for the quarter ended March 31st, 2026. Ms. Tornin-Casa.
Good afternoon, Mayor Gottberg and City Council members. Today I'll be reviewing at a very high level the HDL sales tax report for the quarter ended March 31st, 2026. So Placerville Bradley Burns sales tax, as we all know, is the city's most important economic indicator as it makes up more than 50% of our projected general fund revenue. So when we're looking at year over year Q1 2026 versus Q1 2025, and you see that the cash basis was down $85,000 or a negative 5.9% decrease, and then even when you look at the adjusted for economic data, that was also down at $53,000 or a negative 3.8%. So that's concerning. So why the decrease, same as last quarter, had to do with two major industry groups which were hit the hardest, which is autos and transportation. HDL is contributing some of that to high interest rate loans, and then fuel services and stations. When we look at year-over-year sales tax numbers, City of Placerville versus El Dorado County versus the state, still no good news here. Placerville Bradley Burns sales tax, as I mentioned, adjusted for economic data, down 3.8%, while El Dorado County was up 2.1% and the state was up 4%. It's not all bad news. Measure H, J, and L continue to outperform. All three of our add-on sales tax are up and continue to perform better than Bradley Burns, with, on the cash basis, up 8% and up around 3% when you look for the adjusted economic data versus last Q1 of 2025. There's something that we've asked HDL to do that they've been doing it for about a year that I thought you guys might find interesting. We also look at 3 geographical regions within the city of Placerville, Broadway, Placerville Drive, and Main Street, to see how they're performing. When comparing Q1 2026 to Q1 2025, Broadway was up 6.2%, while Main Street was up 4.3% and Placerville Drive was down 11.6%. For our top 25 sales tax producers this quarter compared to last quarter, which was Q4 of 2025, we had Arco AM PM, Broadway Smoke and Vape, and Shell were added, while Marshall Hospital, Rancho Convenience Center, and Verizon Wireless were removed. And so just a quick summary and outlook. So it's same story. HDL is continuing to forecast sales tax statewide to modestly increase for last fiscal year, which is 25-26, up about 2.7%. Because we are reporting in arrears, this is for March 31st, 2026, they haven't finalized the report for that fiscal year. So while they are forecasting statewide, so California, to be up 2.7%, HDL is forecasting Placerville to continue to be flat, actually slightly down. City of Placerville's budgeted sales tax revenue was at $6.2 million, which assumed a slight increase. So very similar to what I reported last quarter, is that we're looking at missing our budget by about $87,000. When we look ahead, which is our current fiscal year of 26-27, HDL is forecasting a 2.3% increase for the state. And while Placerville is a little bit lower than that, they are still forecasting a modest increase of 1.7. They gave us a number of 6.2. They gave us that number A couple months ago, we used that for our budget, and it's staying the same. So that is what we've budgeted to, 6.26. Basically, we will continue to monitor the trends and report back, but it's looking like sales tax is going to be relatively flat.
All right, any questions from the council? No. Any member of the public want to comment on this item? All right, I see none. Item 16, upcoming items, you can read those at your leisure. So item number 17, we are going to adjourn the meeting at 6:06 PM.
I wasn't sure how this one was going to go.